number 24. What's today? Not today, it's not 24, it's 23. Okay. But we're using, we studied the September 17th subject, right? 1 to 8. We went through chapters 1 to 8. Alright? So, let's give you a chance to review your work. Let's blitz. Alright? Let's blitz the chapters 9 to 16. And again, it is my hope and prayer that you have read this. If you did not read it, go catch up at the house. Alright? Now, let me give you a little bit of a tidbit. You need to read the book. So, if you don't have the time, when you get home and you feel that you're going to be lost, read 17 to 24.
9 to 17?
Yeah. It's there on the students. Why are you guys taking notes? It's here. Remember the one I gave you? Everything that you need to do is there already. Don't lose your things. When I give you these things, don't lose those things. Because that will give you, that tells you where you are. It's like a map. It tells you where you are. It tells you what you need to study. Don't forget. Okay? Who of you lost yours? Because I will make you copies. You have it. Alright. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And so our discussion for today, our discussion will be the religious background and the socio-economic background. I don't think that's so hard, but again, as you read, you will see. Right? If you don't have time, and again, please, do not take, especially even though we're in class, you might say, well, now I have a lot to read. Then you have the opportunity to read scripture. You know that? You have the opportunity to read scripture. And no one condemns you if you're not able to read. Okay?
This one?
No. Synoptics, I hammered that out. Synoptic Gospels, the harmony of the Gospels. That's the first handout. Remember, I gave you that and said, if you master that table.
Harmony of the Gospel.
Yeah. Okay. If you master that handout, that means you know everything already. You sort of know already the structure and the parameters of the whole course. Okay? So, last week we did chapters 1 to 8, right? We got as far as Jesus comes the storm. Right. So let's not lose any more time. We have 15 minutes. Chapter 9, Jesus heals the paralytic. Chapter 9, and I think the highlight there is verse 2. He said to the paralytic, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." That's Matthew chapter 9, verse 2. Then, of course, the contrast to that, some teachers of the law, who would these people be? Well, these would be either Pharisees or Sadducees. Teachers of the law, there would be two factions, the Sadducees. And the Sadducees at that time in Matthew have a lot of money. That's a commentary even to the status that we have today. Back in the 70s, the average worker made $40,000 a year. The CEOs, they made about $352,000. Now it's different. The comparative number, they didn't make $40,000 a year, but compared to the value of the dollar today, adjusted for inflation, they made $40,000. Nowadays, the average factory worker, the average worker makes $32,000 a year, adjusted for today's dollars. And the difference between the rich and the poor has become so much that 400 Americans out-earn 150 million people. Think about that. 400 Americans, okay, with the disparity between the rich and the poor. 400 Americans make more money than 150 million other Americans combined. Okay? So 400 Americans are the GDP of, say, West Germany. You imagine that? But I'm not miserable about that, because that doesn't matter. If they have more money, so what? Doesn't God provide for us? See, the problem with the media and society is they give commentaries on these things, and it's really designed to shock us and to discourage us. But did you lose money even though somebody made more? And how can you say to me that some of these people are not rich because it is God's will for them to be that rich? So I'm not concerned about that. But, comparatively in chapter 9, the teachers of the law were also people who had money. People then, the high priest, Caiaphas, is a Sadducee because the Sadducees had money. And because they had money, they were able to go and afford positions they can buy into political positions. Now, continuing on, of course, Jesus knew their thoughts, okay, and then he confronted them by in verse 6, he issues the challenge. And of course, the rejoinder of verse 6, the statement, get up, take your mat, and go home. As NIV translation, but the classic translation, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. Okay? And the man got up and went home. So his question was, why do you entertain these evil thoughts, which is easier to say your sins are forgiven, or say to this person, get up and walk? Which do you prefer? You know? And of course, both require faith. Then, of course, the calling of Matthew. Matthew was sitting at the tax collector's booth, and he was told, follow me. And Matthew got up and followed him. This is a big lesson here. To his credit, Matthew stood up and walked. You know? Any of you have a good living, make a good living, or anyone you like your jobs or love your jobs? Imagine that Jesus knocks. Hey, follow me. Don't do hairdressing anymore. Don't do real estate anymore. For me, don't do pastoring anymore. You know? Because what would happen to me then? It's like, don't be a Pharisee. Don't be a Sadducee. Come follow me. Don't stay at the synagogue. Come follow me. Will I do that? I don't know. Yeah? Leave everything. Oh, I'm married. Forget you. That's it. Let your wife be. It's okay. Just follow me. I'll take care of your whole family. You know? Who will do that? Right? But it's again, Matthew stood up and followed. And then, of course, people that said to him, verse 11 of Matthew chapter 9, when the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? Verse 12, on hearing this, Jesus said, it's not the healthy who need the doctor, but the sick. So these are wonderful teachings. Then Jesus questioned about fasting, starting from verse 14. Next is, who is this person? Do you know who this person is in Matthew chapter 18?
Chapter 18 or verse 18?
No, sorry, verse 18. Do you remember who this is? I do, but what's his name? The man?
Is it Jairus?
Jairus had a daughter. Jairus was a... let's pause. Jairus was a daughter. Jairus was a prosperous man. He had a daughter, and the daughter was sick. Right? Now, previous to this, in the other books, you will learn that actually. Previous to this, he was walking. Here, the name of Jairus is not mentioned, right? But we know who Jairus is, right? In Luke chapter 8, Jairus is mentioned, the same story. So Jesus was walking, and then he said, "Somebody touch me." Who touched me? Yeah, you all know that, but no one was admitting. People were going, "What are you talking about? Who touched you? Look at the crowd. Everybody's pressing against you." You know? Why are you talking about who touched me? No, someone touched me. Because he felt the power come out. Now, did he not know? Can you tell me, please? Did Jesus know or not know who touched you?
He probably did, of course, more than likely.
Okay, more than likely, probably did. So if you were betting, let's take all our money out and say he knew. Alright?
Yeah, he knew.
But of course, we don't know. We don't like to bet, but hey man, I take out all my credit cards and say, give them all the passwords and say, hey, I think Jesus knew. But everybody was all freaked out. They saying, "Don't touch me." Because he felt the power come out of him. And so what did the woman say? Did the woman admit?
Yeah.
Or she ran away?
But she was afraid though too.
Yeah, she was afraid, yeah, but did she admit?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what happened? What did Jesus say to the woman?
Yours, you know.
No,
Ah.
she was saved.
Oh, what?
Your faith has healed you.
Your faith has
Oh,
healed
that's
you.
right.
Go in
Yeah,
peace.
yeah.
Go in peace.
Okay.
That's it. There you
Your faith has healed you. Go in peace. Yo. Go there. Yo.
Alright.
Get out of here. You know? Peace. I'm out of here. So that was the situation with that woman, and that woman was poor, right? And so that woman had to come to Jesus. And you got it, none of them did. Alright, anyway. So he got touched, felt the power come out, made the woman admit, all in front, that he called this woman out, not so that he was mad, but so that the woman would testify to all these people. Because this woman was used to being ignored. She's probably dirty and thin. You know.
10 years was.
Why do you think?
His bleedings is.
Okay, and what happened? She's probably was, I said, in rags and thin and looked sickly. Why? Anyone have
Well, she spent all her money on doctors.
Nice.
But reading in this, it said she would have been ostracized from everything too, as unclean.
Yeah, because of her bleeding. Yes.
So socially, she would be rejected.
Okay, so there you go. Now you're understanding why we did this, to talk about religious background and socioeconomic background, right? Huh? Alright, keep
She
on
probably
going.
thought she would be
So,
rebuked.
Huh?
She probably thought she was going to be rebuked.
Okay, good.
She probably used to be rebuked by like
Good.
Pharisees or something.
That's good also that you said she spent all her money to heal herself. Now she's dead broke.
That's a good point.
So chances are she wasn't eating enough. She wasn't dressed well. You know, during that time you needed money to have water. So she's not taking a bath every day. Right? And she's bleeding.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now all of a sudden she's healed and she knows that. Because for 28 years she's known her condition and that did not change any day. For 28 years, the same. All of a sudden, touches Jesus and now she knows she's healed. Only problem is, this one, the healer, is walking around, looking around, going, who touched me? And she knew that she was the one. Because all the other people are going, what? You know? Maybe some dork like me would make fun. I'd be in there going like, hey, homie, don't play that. I didn't touch you. You know? I'd be that stupid guy going, you know? But Jesus knew exactly what he was doing. So of course this lady, this woman was healed. And then came this man, who we now know as Jairus, although in Matthew we don't mention the name, right? Okay. And so from there, we see that at that point, this man wanted Jesus to go. Right? Verse 22 of chapter 9 says, take heart, daughter, your faith has healed you. Number. I'm sorry, I'm wrong in the number. Bleeding for 12 years, not 28. My bad. 12 years. Still long enough. And any one of you been sick 12 months? This woman, 12 years. Okay. Alright. So, the ruler, basically, was asking Jesus to please come and heal his daughter, but when they got there, the daughter was dead. Okay? So, but what did Jesus do? Verse 25, after the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took the girl by the hand and she got up. Okay. One is a woman sick for 12 years, probably looks dirty, shriveled, waif-like, not good clothes, has no money, ostracized because she is bleeding and considered ritually unclean. Right? Then there's this ruler who also has to ask Jesus. Okay? But this ruler probably, okay, my commentary, maybe I'm wrong. Right? We all agree that sometimes I'm wrong, right? I mean, I'm not thinking that I'm wrong, but I may be. You can ask Jesus when you get there. But maybe this ruler, just maybe, my humble opinion, this ruler, because he was powerful, because he was a ruler, he was used to, calling people and they would come. Just like me as a pastor here, one of my privileges, even Roselle, even whoever, when I call, hey, can you come here? They will come. Now, I'm not calling just so that, I'm calling, okay, go away now. I'm not doing that. There's a purpose. And so this ruler, because of his position and his authority, maybe he's used to saying, hey, come. And so people come. But Jesus said, wait. And what did he do? Who touched me? Who touched me? And so, of course, the statement is, oh man, had this man come earlier? But look at this. The girl is already dead. The poor person needed to come. The woman who's bleeding, the 12-year bleeding case, needs to come to Jesus. The ruler needs to come to Jesus. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that he is Lord, regardless of the economic stature of people. Okay? Jesus heals the blind and the mute, verse 27 onwards. Here's one of your classics, Matthew chapter 9, verse 35 to 37. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are so few. What are we being asked? Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field. Isn't that amazing? So we have the privilege to ask the Lord to send his workers to come into the harvest field. What a blessing that is. Chapter 10, the sending out of the 12. Chapter 10, sending out of the 12. Okay, there were 12 disciples. Jesus called to help him. If you're not sure who they are, look at Matthew chapter 10. That's where all the disciples' names are. Simon, Peter, Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot. So if you want, there were 12 disciples. Jesus called to help him. Let's wrap. Simon, Peter, Andrew, James, his brother John, Philip, Thomas, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, to differentiate from the son of Zebedee, Thaddeus, Simon, also Simon, not Simon Peter, but Simon. That's why there's a Simon Peter and a Simon. Judas Iscariot and Bartholomew. Alright? Now these 12 were told to go. The instructions are in verse 5. On and on and on and on. Alright? Out of these, actually, Matthew chapter 10, you should read all the red letters. Your Bible should have the red letter version, I hope. That's a help. Spend your time on that. Chapter 11. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. So where did he start? In Galilee. Who did he call? People from Galilee. Why did we start in Galilee? We had 2 points expressed last time. One was to fulfill scripture, the other is, why did we start in Galilee? Remember, we had 2 points. One of you said to fulfill the scripture, to fulfill prophecy. Okay. What's the other?
Pick up the fisherman.
Pick up the fisherman? Yeah, I wouldn't mind Peter, Andrew, James, and John, the sons of thunder bodyguarding me. That won't be too bad. Be a posse, but make them big men. There's a reason why they call Peter the Rock. Actually, not Peter the Rock. It's not really Peter the Rock. It's Peter the Stone. He was a rolling stone. Peter was a rolling stone. Because we know that the rock is the Lord Jesus Christ. Right? You are the rock. Peter, you are the stone. Cephas, rock. But I think it was more, it should have been your heart stone. Yeah, because it was built. Yeah. Alright. So after I didn't finish my thought. Why did we say that?
What's the other one?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you. You're not a professor. Check through this one.
See, I only got that one down.
Fulfill the prophecy of the other one, right?
Fulfill the prophecy is the other one. I was teaching something. You got everything but what I'm teaching.
Yeah.
Why in Galilee? Because the ministry of Jesus starts with
The juice.
the Jews. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Huh?
Wow.
And please, when we say the Jews, not all J. Simpson, right?
They the tribe of
That's the
Judah.
Jews. Yeah. The tribe of Judah, the 12 tribes.
They were each from one of the tribes.
Yeah. Well, some of the tribes are gone now, but you know what I mean?
Is that gonna be in the test?
I think so.
Okay, let's put
I
it in.
have a feeling. We discussed it twice already.
Let's put it, let's put it, let's put it.
All right. When John heard in prison what Christ was doing, he sent his disciples to ask him, "Are you the one who was to come, or should we expect someone else?" You know why he was asking that, right? Because he's in prison now. What happened to me? John's probably going, what happened? I'm supposed to prepare the way of the Messiah, and here I am, I'm in prison. You know? And again, like I said, God reigns. If you attended our service this Sunday, God reigns. Whatever your circumstance is, it doesn't matter whatever your circumstances. If your circumstance is difficult or your circumstance is easy, if everything's falling apart, still God reigns. There is no evidence, that God is not reigning. If your life is hard, if you're messed up, still God reigns. There is no difference, and I want you to understand that. Those of you that are called to serve, there will be days when your life will be difficult. Look at the Jose's. They're not here. Let me pick on them. They graduate. All of a sudden, ministry openings are with them. Then all of a sudden, what happens? Ben has an accident that messes up their finances. The brother hasn't worked for 3.5 weeks. Now, if you were here Sunday evening, if you attended the service, you would have heard their testimony. It was an amazing thing. How do you get out of that without borrowing from the church? Or borrowing from your credit cards?
God, miracle.
Yeah. And so, may I say that that's the life of those that want to serve. Sometimes there are difficulties. The difficulties come because God decided that you will suffer the difficulty. Sometimes it's your fault because you chose, you made your decisions, and that's the consequence of your decisions. But God allows for these things to happen because He allows for these things to happen. He has a reason. It's higher than your reason. And even as the things are harder, even as life is harder, the truth of the matter is God is still in control. God reigns. And He reigns whether your circumstances are good or not. Because I don't care if you're about to die, you lost everything, you're about to die of hunger, and then within 4 minutes you're going to die, right? And then all of a sudden, Jesus comes back in 2 minutes. Doesn't matter. Right? You're poor, you're rich, it doesn't matter. Now Jesus is back. Abba Father will take care of you, absolutely. Or, you're dying, and in 4 minutes you die, then where do you go? You go and be with God. And since you're now with God, what does it matter how much money you have? Right? Oh, you have 18 pieces of gold. All rated, if you are a collector, you'll understand what I'm saying. All rated MS 70. So 1 ounce of gold at least worth, let's say, from the 1920s, worth probably, if it's an MS 70, it's worth about $5,000 to $6,000 a piece. Will you bring that to heaven? No. And then there's these people who have no more money for food. Same story. Alright? Then there's prophecies. If I were you, I'd study this for your growth. For example, from verse 20 of chapter 11. The cities that are there. Look at the prophecies that came in the Old Testament, because there are some prophecies about these cities in the Old Testament, and see what's happening. For example, Tyre and Sidon. Okay? Capernaum. If I were you, if you read prophecies, look at the prophecies that are specific to cities. For example, prophecies in the Old Testament about Babylon. And then if you're able to examine what Babylon is now, see what happens. You tell me. Okay. And you cannot tell me that back then they were already planning 8,000 years ago. God is, some people are still maneuvering so that 8,000 years from now, that prophecy will come true. Or that 8,000 years from then, the prophecy will come true. Okay? Chapter 12, Lord of the Sabbath. Okay? That's one of the things. Then also in chapter 12, verse 38, the sign of Jonah. Sorry, verse 25, the kingdom divided. Verse 38, the sign of Jonah. 25, the kingdom divided against itself will be ruined. Then the sign of Jonah, this generation asked for a sign, this wicked generation will only get the sign of Jonah. No other sign will be given. Right? Next, this is important. Verse 46. Verse 46, while Jesus was still talking to the crowd, his mother and brothers stood outside wanting to speak to him.
Oh, this is very important.
You know, there are some very good teachers, and this is a controversial point. Okay. You know who David Jeremiah is? Okay, you know who David Jeremiah? You think he's a good teacher? I just heard him preach, and this is how he said it. Well, he expressed his priorities. First, God. Then after that, he said, my wife. Then my son. Then the church. So I said, one day there was this man that was really complaining, wanting to talk to him. He said, he's having a disaster, his family is falling apart. David Jeremiah was leaving. He said, I cannot talk to him. There are at least 5 other people in the church that can talk to him. Let him talk to him. And he was going out. Well, this man was a persistent man. He was walking down out of the office. The man saw him, confronted him, and said, where are you going? I need to talk to you. He said, no, I have people here who will help you. He said, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I said, I'm going to my son's basketball game. And then the man said, what kind of pastor are you? What kind of pastor are you? You're going to a basketball game, but my family is falling apart and I need to talk to you. He said, no, I have 5 people here that can talk to you. There are 5 other people that can help you. They're capable. They're people that I trust. They're people in my staff. But my son only has one father. And he deaf. For his son's basketball game. Okay? Now I'm not like that. There are days when I tell Ethan, I have men's. And I will teach in the men's. Okay? And as I'm teaching in the men's, you have to just understand that your basketball games are not my first priority. I will try to make every single one. But if I can make it, I'm not the kind of parent that will make every single one of your games. And I'm not apologetic to myself about that. Okay? But David Jeremiah says that's his priority. Church is number 4. And to me, a lot of times it's not. There are times when my son has to not have me and my wife. Not all the time. Mind you, not all the time. If it's all the time, then I will abandon the church. If that's the thing, I will resign. I'm not going to sacrifice we were called to sacrifice, but I'm not called to sacrifice our marriages or our family. I'm not going to get divorced for the sake of the church. That is such a twisted idea. And I'm not going to let my son grow up thinking that his father is only available for him during emergencies. That's not what happened. Okay? But then there's other pastors who teach that that's not true. For example, Francis Chan. So he's so proud of his wife because sometimes, ever since they got married and got a house, other people live there because when people are in trouble, they live in the house. I don't do that, but the church, find any pastor who will let people stay in the church. But I built my family. I have a family here that I have built from the ground up. There were nobody here before. Slowly but surely we had people come. And we found people who have the calling, who have the desire, who have the temperament to help other people. And so we have that house? Maybe. Truthfully, I might do that. Francis Chan said when he's talking about his home, he said, my wife has seen us blessed again and again and again because of this. So we don't know, you know. Make sure that whatever it is, I think the bottom line is if you do ministry, you better not sacrifice your family. You all sacrifice. You know, you're called to sacrifice. Wives are called to sacrifice a lot for their husbands. Husbands are called to sacrifice for their wives. But God never called anyone to sacrifice their marriage.
Yeah, because in the long run, you're going to reap the consequence.
Okay. If you say so. Alright. Chapter 13, parable of the sower, parable of the weed, parable of the mustard seed. Parable of the weeds explained after that, parable of the hidden treasure and the pearl, parable of the net. What else? Am I missing anything? Last portion, chapter 13, a prophet without honor, verse 53. As stated by Jesus himself in verse 56, only in his own town and in his own house is a prophet without honor. And I have to agree, you know. There were days when my family were the most disrespectful. I'm not just talking about the family I married into, but even my immediate family. You know, there was a time my father would say, "You're my smartest child, what happened to you?" So I went to ministry and I was broke and broken, you know. I remember those days. Broke, I had no money, broken in spirit. I didn't even have the temerity to talk back to my dad because he was lending me money. Man, from being able, I remember just 3-4 years before that point, my sister said, "It's your birthday, what am I going to get you?" "I don't know, so I got you 2 children's books because I know you like Hans Christian Andersen." What am I going to get someone who has everything? You know? And I wasn't living large, but she knew. I was making the Mondo box, I was never hungry, I was never lonely, I always, you know. I had what I wanted. And then all of a sudden at that point, broken. You know, sometimes people give me $20 and I cry. I say, what has become of me? But now $20 is a big deal for me. What happened here? But I learned. So, you may think that, and I would pray that your family will be the best support for you, but sometimes that doesn't come immediately. And that's why as a group you have to support each other and help each other through the things that you're going to go through. And you are going to go through. You know, you are going to go through things. I can promise you that. I'm not going to bother with the scriptural things, you know, but in James it says, you know, count it all joy for different trials to come upon you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, just based on observation, when people come to do ministry, life is hard. That's just how it is. Some people are looking for, oh, well, Lord, when will this be easy? You better quit. You want your life to be easy, quit ministry. But that also means if you quit ministry, your life isn't going to be as rewarding as it should be, especially if you have a call for ministry and you decide that you're not going. Okay? Chapter 14, John the Baptist beheaded. Jesus feeds the 5,000. Some of the biggest miracles is in John chapter 14. Jesus feeds the 5,000, Jesus walks on water. In fact, in the English language nowadays, if you do something close to example, they go like, he just walked on water. And me, I feel that certain days, no, okay, please, I'm no Messiah. I don't have, before you think of it, starting to become Messianic, he's going to be a cult some year. No, please don't think that. But I felt that in certain times here in this church, I was really walking on water. How God carried us over. How God sent people to this church. Now, unlike Jesus who walks on water on his own power, right? My walking on water is like Peter, I better stay focused. That's why I don't walk on water all the time. You know? Then after a while I look around and I was thinking Jesus has to pull me out. I don't think I'm at that level.
Who's carrying us like a baby?
But Jesus can walk on water. I'm not claiming to be Jesus. I'm just claiming that certain times I feel that what Peter did, I was able to do in a figurative sort of sense. Okay? All right. And you might say, oh, you're so proud, huh? You're so proud. You really think that you're, well, please read verse 31 of chapter 14. As he described Peter who walked on water. What did Jesus say? Anyone?
We have a little faith.
Someone says to be afraid.
See, so please, okay?
We have a little faith.
Oh, you a little afraid. Oh, you a little.
All right, you understand that, right? So what did I claim to be? Do we understand each other here? I claim what, Peter? I claim to be like Peter. What did Jesus say?
Little faith.
You of little faith. He said, why did you doubt? What we should be is I should walk on water every day. What is walking on water? It's nothing. So some of you should aspire to walk on water. And walk on water regularly, then you would be more than that person with a little faith. Okay, clean and unclean, the teachings that we were told to avoid the Pharisees and the Sadducees. The Canaanite woman, I'm so Filipino, the Canaanite woman. Canaanite, the Canaanite woman, verse 21 of chapter 15. I'm serious, when I keep asking you what happened, why did he start in Galilee? In verse 24, it says, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel.
Quick question, sorry. Israel, does that mean something having to do with wrestling with God and overcoming, I heard? Is that like,
Oh yeah, you can pull it to that teaching wherein that Jacob wrestled with God, so he became Israel. But here, in the plainness of it, that's already done. That's already history as far as this verse is concerned. Although yes, they are teaching to do the patch, but I don't want to complicate this. All I'm saying is now, Jesus came for the Jews, right? But he made an exception because God is moved by what? How is God moved? By faith.
By faith.
Okay? God isn't moved by rhetoric or power. Remember, in Babylon, what did he do to the king? He made him like an animal. Nebuchadnezzar went out and said, oh, look at this. Isn't this Babylon? Is it my hands the one that made it? And right there and then, he became an animal. And if you will look at the annals of the Babylonians, there was a time that their king was not mentioned for 7 years. Because the king was out in the fields eating with the cows, getting wet with the dew. And that was a strong man. You know why? For 7 years he resisted the mercy of God. And by 7 years, when the time came and its fullness, he admitted, you are God. And then he came back to his senses.
wow.
Just like that. Okay? So verse 28 says that Jesus answered, woman, you have great faith. This is 28 of verse 15. And her daughter was healed from that very hour. What was his claim, Lord? Even the crumbs are fed to the dogs. There must be crumbs. Okay, you're right. I'm not debating you that you were sent to Israel, but you know what? It's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. That's what Jesus said. But he said, yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. You have to understand, even these crumbs that fall from the master's table is enough for you. If God gives you a crumb from his table, that's enough for you to sustain you all your life. Chapter 16, they demand the sign. Okay. And he said, none will be given. Again, I said the sign of Jonah. Okay. next teaching, verse 6, be careful, be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, meaning false teaching. Right? Then they talked about, they didn't get this, they talked about food and did you forget to bring bread? You know. And then finally, well not finally, but back at the end, verse 13, who do people say the Son of Man is? And everyone said, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, still others, Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. But what about you? He asked, who do you say I am? And who answered? That's why Peter started to move up in leadership, because Peter said, the Son of Man is God. And the retort was, this did not come to you on your own. But then, he warned them not to tell anyone that he was Christ. Isn't that great? Some people use this and say, oh, so really, see, here's the proof that he was not the Christ. What do you mean? He just said, don't tell them. Not yet. There's a time that it is going to be put out there. And then, of course, Jesus predicts his death, 21 Okay? So, religious background. What is the religious background in Israel back then? So, we've gone through these chapters. What's the religious background? Who were in charge?
Romans.
Okay. And then the Jews were ruled by?
Pharisees.
How did that happen that the Romans were in charge but the Jews were ruled by the Pharisees and the Sadducees? How did that happen? Anyone want to tell me?
Oh, because the Romans put the Sadducees and the Pharisees.
What?
They put them there.
Okay, they let them reign. Alright, why? Anyone want to make a commentary about how Rome does its politics?
Well, they didn't want him to rebel, but they wanted to tax him.
Thank you. They don't want to rebel, they want to tax. Okay, very good points. Rome's style was to conquer and then to assimilate. Who watch Star Trek? The Borg. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. That's Roman style. They're not going to kill you, okay? But you will assimilate. Of course, if you don't assimilate, we will kill you. Yeah.
They also said here that Rome granted them some sort of state religion where,
Yes.
where Jewishness was protected.
Nice. That's the other thing. Okay, that's the other thing. Rome, when it conquered people, did not insist on giving them an official religion. Until what time?
Constantine.
And Istanbul was Constantinople. Istanbul, right? Right. Because at that time they got conquered. That's why he came by Constantine. He saw the cross. He thought that, at that point, being Christian, that sign was for him to conquer. So, they started conquering the cities. That's why you hear that song. Istanbul was Constantinople. No, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. No, it's Constantinople, not Istanbul. And then they start talking about now, if you study the names of the cities, okay, you will see that history. So Rome, when it conquered a people, allowed them to worship according to how they want. Provided, that they did not cause anarchy. So actually, in the beginning, Rome said, it's okay for you to be Jewish. And then when Christ died, see, because Christ was in control. God was in control. When Christ died, it was okay to be Christian. Right? The problem though was when they became Christian, they took control of Jerusalem. And so it gave a little problem to those who were Jewish, because of course we know that the seat of power in Israel was in Jerusalem, and now the Christians were all over the place. And one day, this person was not Christian, this person was Jewish, next thing you know, they got witness to, they became Christian. Okay? Now the problem also, of course, as far as I believe God's point of view is that now these people don't want to leave. Because anywhere else that you go, it's pagan. Okay? But if you stay in Jerusalem, why? These are Christians. And when Christians congregate, there is this light, there is this warmth. So we go, oh, okay, this is where we want to be. And so what happened? Okay, something happened. Then came the persecution. Through politics, through the working of the devil, through the times, you know, of the socioeconomic background, the religious background. Rome said, wait a minute, you're not Jewish. They said Christianity was a sect, you know, just like the Pharisees, the Sadducees. Oh, here's a sect. These are, you know, the Hasidic Jews, and they said, oh, you're just a faction of the Jewish religion. No, you're not. Wait a minute. Now you're in control of Jerusalem. And of course, Christians will not follow Roman law. They will follow biblical law. There was no law there, but you know, they follow the teaching of Jesus Christ. So what's happening is this. For a period of time, Christianity was a cause of problems, of a destabilization of that region in Israel. So what happened then? They empowered, the Romans empowered, allowed for the political arrangements to empower certain Jews to come and again take control of their country, their cities, basically in a move to continue the status quo, to make peace and order, so that there will not be conflict, because the Christians were causing conflict. And the Christians were doing certain things that were unheard of. For example, they were selling all their goods and giving it at the apostles' feet. That's unheard of. And you know, that causes financial chaos. All of a sudden there's a trader, all of a sudden he's not a trader anymore. He's okay. Now where's the taxes gonna come from? You know? There's no taxation because there's no income. I just sold my business, I gave it, put it at the feet of the apostles. I'm not making any income anymore. The tax collector is after me, but I have no more to give him because I gave all the money to the apostles. The apostles are not going to claim income because they're spending it for the poor. See? And so when that happened, they looked at Christianity as something that was not Jewish anymore, and it was a problem and a burden upon the system of the Romans. And then came the persecution, which the Romans allowed. Remember, Saul cannot kill Christians unless the Romans who were in power then allowed it. See? Yeah?
And the Jewish authorities also want Christians removed too?
Yes, that's why they were in agreement and in connivance with Rome. You know? Because the Jewish authorities were the ones basically that held peace in Jerusalem. And you know, the Romans know. There are certain people that are good at war. I don't know if you know any more veterans because they're all dying off, but ask them how the Filipinos were in Bataan with them. And when they marched through Corregidor. Yeah? In the Korean War, every veteran will tell you what the Filipinos did to the Chinese. Really, the Americans armed the Filipinos. They were so happy to have actual working first-class guns. Okay, so there's countries that are known for war, and Israel was really known for war. And it took them a long time before they got Masada. Remember, Masada was a bloody mess for the Romans, and expensive. So now, all of a sudden, with this stability slipping through the grass of their fingers, what they really wanted to do was to continue on. The more plausible thing to do was to extinguish Christianity. Okay? Alright? I tried to teach you something that's not in the book. Alright? You show them the book. If you want to buy the book, see, that's helpful. If you buy the book, that's helpful.
Yeah. I know it doesn't make much difference, but they said here after Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, they destroyed the temple, and the Sadducees were so connected with the temple and making money off of that that they died out with the temple.
That's why they were
As I
rich.
said, yeah.
That's why they were rich, because the money came from the temple.
They controlled it.
And while the money was coming in, that's why now who do you see? The Pharisees. The Hasidic Jews are from the Pharisees. The Pharisees are from the teachings of Gamaliel. Gamaliel, the Pharisees, the Hasidic Jews.
They said the Pharisees got a bad rap though. I mean, they were trying to maintain
Yeah, know.
They're trying to maintain law in order to get back in favor with
Yeah.
God.
That's really what it is, but you know, you see them in Santa Monica, right? The hospital. Alright, questions or comments?